Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. And right before I went live, I got something caught in my throat. It's just like one of those crazy things. Okay, hopefully we got it all out. So I am kind of excited to be with y'all tonight because we're going to be talking kind of a lot of energy, mainly about what energy we're going to be dealing with in July. This summer has some amazing energy, some amazing things that are changing and modifying for us. So it's kind of like, okay, are we ready for all this? So hopefully I can explain it to you, what's coming up, that sort of thing. And then we'll be doing some angel cards. You know how I love my angel cards. I love my angel cards. Love my angel cards. So let me start with my, I guess my commercial. I don't know what it, I don't know. I was talking to someone else today and we thought about different names to call it. So let me, let's see, get on this part and we'll do that. And I am going to start adding this to my Instagram as well. So kind of, interesting. Here we go. Okay. Hey, Miss Tina. Hey, Miss Shelley. We are kind of talking about the energy that we are really going to be dealing with a lot in July coming up, because we have July coming in just a couple of days. And this is all about kind of getting us ready for what's about to shift and change around us. Now, there are a lot of things that are changing, a lot of things that are shifting, and it doesn't necessarily has to be bad or in any way. It's just kind of like, here we go. This is kind of what's coming at us. So really for the month of July, we have kind of two major things that are going on. We have our lunar nodes shifting and changing signs, and then we have Venus going to retrograde. And I'm going to go through that, but I'm going to kind of hopefully hit them in order. I will tell you that we've got a very interesting month, kind of one of those like, this is interesting. And the other one, I think that a lot of people are downplaying that they really haven't kind of like, wow, this is going to shift and change a lot of people. Chiron, which is an asteroid, kind of like a small planet like Pluto, is going into retrograde. And because of that, it's going to shift a lot of people that have been dealing with a lot of generational wounds, a lot of generational items, information wise, kind of like shifting that out. So a lot of people are going to be like, wounds, like kind of like, I'm willing to take my fair share of it, but they're not going to deal with all of it. Or they're going to, like, grandma passed or mom passed and left all of this. And I feel like I've been taking all of these issues on, and now I'm going to separate it out. So kind of like, this is your part of the issues. This is your part of the issues. This is your part of the issues. And how are we going to heal this? How are we going to bring this together? And like I said, this is one of those, like, this has been, and it doesn't necessarily be totally bad, but there's sometimes that people think like, oh, rich people are bad, or this kind of person is bad, or this person who does this, or business people are always greedy, or whatever else. Like, they'll have like those generational ideas, because so-and-so great grandpa got into a bad deal or something like that. And it's like, oh, never trust that kind of person. And it's like, just because he encountered one bad person doesn't mean that everybody's bad in that field. But there's a lot of people that kind of think that way. I will tell you, Chiron is going to be one that is going to be kind of an interesting one as we come through. Like I said, a lot of generational stuff come up, and kind of there's a lot of things that we can kind of push back on, like grandparents' energy, parents' energy, great grandparents, because it's like their thinking was off, and now it's going to be shifting and changing. Let's start with actually, we're going to kind of go back just a minute. So actually, as of tomorrow, the 30th of June, Neptune goes into retrograde. It really depends on where you're at, because it could be July 1st, it could be June 30th. But Neptune goes into retrograde. Now, Neptune is the planet that really affects our dreams, our dream life, kind of the things that we don't really want to deal with, or kind of like I'd rather just like veg out and watch TV or watch video games, that sort of thing. So kind of like things that I want to do besides dealing with real life. I'd rather do that instead of wash the dishes. I'd rather watch TV than do this. So that's kind of that energy in there. But when Neptune goes into retrograde, and it kind of really pushes us all into that like very intuitive side. So our intuition starts like amping up. Our dream life can kind of get to that crazy state of just like, I had a really strange dream. Yeah, Neptune's in retrograde. That's one of those like, it's the way it goes. I will tell you, it also kind of gets in the way of kind of like our slowing down, sometimes like our awakening, because sometimes it's like we were like instantly like, boom, here we go. I want this to open up right away. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's kind of just this slow awakening. And in Neptune in retrograde, it's going to make it slower. But a lot of times it means that it's in growth. It's kind of like it's growing in that area. But I will tell you, our dreams are going to be the things that are going to be like, what? I normally have like pretty bizarre dreams myself, but when Neptune's in retrograde, they kind of get a little like, crazier, kind of intense. And I will tell you, they have like deeper connections. And it's one of those, it's like almost like when you're an adult and you watch like children's cartoons, it's like you realize like, oh, this is funny, but then you realize like there's a whole other layer beneath it, and then there's a whole other layer beneath that. That's kind of the way Neptune is with our dreams. Like you'll be like, oh, this is the simple answer, and then you'll be like later on like, well, and this could be an answer, and then that could be an answer. So it's kind of like you keep growing and changing, and you realize like this is way more in depth than what I ever had thought about. If y'all have any questions over this, let me know. I will answer your questions the best of my ability. Let's see. Neptune, when Neptune's kind of is in retrograde, it's going to be making, like I said, dreams multi-layer. It's going to make things that kind of like, you're going to want to get physical. You're going to want to get like beyond like the normal connection with people. You're like, I need this deeper connection with people, and kind of really drawing that energy into us. Now, let's go to July 3rd. We have our full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and full moons are very positive, and it's going to be making some, even though literally it's only full for a couple of days, it doesn't last very long. I think like 2.5 to 3 days, something like that. It's a very short window. And this is a very positive full moon, because one of the things when it becomes full moon, it actually trines Jupiter, which is kind of like elevating both energies to kind of combine to really bring this energy up. It is going to be opposite Jupiter, and it's going to be sextiling Saturn. So it's kind of like all of these energies kind of put together are all about like bringing in long-term projects, bringing them like into the finish line, signing that contract. This is all about like finally moving forward. Like we've been sitting on the waiting line, or we've been sitting on the sideline, like ready to jump in and make some changes. And now it's like, boom, here we're ready to go. With our full moon in the sign of Capricorn, we may also discover that we have a lot of resources that are really cheering us on, are really wanting us to succeed. And I will tell you, because it's a full moon, and full moons are usually about releasing. So if you come up with any of these ideas and something's holding you back, like literally like toss it to the side, like, okay, full moon, you've got this part, I'm going to keep going. Full moons and Capricorns are all about like hard work, like finally paying off, like kind of like I said, like that success. Here we go. And I will tell you, a lot of times it's because we've got to get that off our plate, so we're ready to kind of jump into what next. Capricorns love the long haul. They love that kind of like, let's keep going, let's keep moving forward, let's not just stop on a dime, let's keep going. And I will tell you, there may be some time, things that you're really ready to celebrate. Celebrate them. Take the time to like, yes, I've accomplished, because that Capricorn moon is going to be like, okay, now let's go. We've celebrated long enough. You had 10 minutes to yourself, and now let's go, let's go. And this is all about kind of stepping into long-term success, things that you've been working on for a period of time and now coming into success. And this is going to be pushing this amazing energy for us. The last thing about our full moon in Capricorn is kind of bringing up things like closer to your goal. So this could be like the beginning of this part of it, and then we're going to move into the next section and the next section. So this is all just coming into an amazing energy. On July 10th, we have Mars moving into the sign of Virgo. And so this is kind of really the planet of action. Mars is about the planet of action, aggression, protection, kind of like our soldiers, kind of like really strong, amazing energy. And then we also have it going into kind of the sign of Virgo, which is all about love, devotion, perfectionism, detail-oriented energy, all of that energy. And Mars in Virgo is going to be giving us stuff that we love to do moving forward. In the next coming weeks, you're going to feel that like, well, I just feel like I'm moving forward. I feel like I'm moving in my life. It's kind of like, here we go. Things in your life that have kind of been like tangled up or kind of messed up, or kind of like, I need to, kind of one of those, like, I've been needing to do this, or I need to be cleaning up my desk or my office space or whatever it is. Now it's going to be like, let's get ready. Let's get into action about things that we love. We want to be organized, but we don't have to be super organized. We need to be just organized so it works and looks nice for everybody else. And this is kind of that time to kind of clear up. But like I said, Mars is going to be pushing us into action about things that we love. And although Neptune, if you're really connecting to Neptune, you may feel like you've got to procrastinate for a period of time. But that Mars in the sign of Virgo is going to be like, let's go, 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 go. Our next one is July 10th or July 11th. We have Mercury entering the sign of Leo. And this is going to be quite a change because we've had Mercury in the sign of Cancer for quite a while. And Cancer is sensitive, and it's all about being private, keeping things like, I don't want everybody else to know what's going on. If y'all are connecting in with any of this, let me know. If you have any questions or, anything that's coming up for you guys, like, make sure you kind of let me know what's coming in. This is kind of one of those fun ones, kind of like, let's bring in this amazing energy. So Cancer is all about your intuition and kind of bringing this up. But the Leo, the Mercury going into the sign of Leo is all about kind of that energy of let's like make things differently. Let's do it loud and proud. Let's be playful and creative. That kind of like, I want to be brave and ready to go in there. Hi, Miss Jinbug. If y'all have any questions, post them out. I will answer them. With Mercury in the sign of Leo. So Mercury is all about the planet of communication, and Leo's all about, like I said, like being loud and dramatic, playful, creative energy. So this is kind of bringing this all together, and this is going to be bringing in a different type of communication for us, a different type of communication that we've had in the past, because it's going to be like people are going to want to say things, or like, I've been waiting a long time to tell you this. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just like, I've been waiting for a long time, or the perfect time to tell you whatever it is. I will tell you that kind of the fun one of this is Mercury in the sign of Leo always wants to kind of like tell the truth. And I think it's kind of interesting because people that would normally like withhold the truth or wouldn't tell you all of it, it's kind of like they want to be dramatic about it. They're going to be on the crazy side. Like, I want to be dramatic with what I tell you. I want to be on, like, I want to tell you in a very dramatic way. And I will tell you, one of the fun ones about this is you will see a lot of people amping up of starting new relationships, or you're going to see people getting engaged or married during this time frame because people are like, oh, I've just been waiting for you to ask. And it's like, boom, here we go. And this is going to last a few weeks with Mercury in the sign of Leo. So this is going to be coming in. So you're going to see people like proud of communication, like talking about things like, I love talking about this subject, or I love doing this part. I will tell you that you're going to feel a lot of people speaking with confidence. And this could be one where you're going to kind of see people kind of blurt out their truth. Like, I want you to know this. I want you to know that I did this. I want you to know that I did this part, where normally they'd be a little more secretive about it or whatever else. So it's kind of like, now let's jump out there. Next, let's go into July 22nd. We have our sun entering the sign of Leo. So we kind of get into Leo season on July 22nd. This is kind of one of those really, Leos love the drama, the confidence, the courage. So you're going to kind of feel that warmth and connection with other people. And I guarantee you, Leos love the generosity. They are very generous with what they do. They're generous with their activities and how they deal with their time. They're going to be very, very generous. So this is going to be like, wow, amazing kind of energy. Next, we're going to move to July 22nd, and we have Venus going into retrograde. Now, Venus only goes into retrograde once every year and a half, so it doesn't do it very often. And it's one of those, Venus going in retrograde is going to be amping up like profound ways of bringing in like our inner world, kind of like our psychic side out a little bit more, things that we love a little bit more. This is going to be kind of, you're going to feel more of a difference between what people like and people love. And so it's like, oh, I kind of like this, but I love this. So you're going to kind of get that more love energy. And it's also kind of asking you a little bit, kind of like the sign of Taurus, of like, what do you value? And people are going to be telling you what they value because they love it. Anything they like is kind of like they're putting not a great value on it, but it's one of those, when they say they love it, they're putting I'm putting a little star next to this. This is something that I love to do. I will tell you that Venus in the sign of, Venus going into retrograde is in the sign of Leo, and this is going to be really bringing us kind of like changes of our heart as they kind of like bring up a lot more energy with it. They're going to be bringing up like things that you love. And I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be going, I really loved my ex better than who I'm with now. And so you're going to see a lot of people going back into relationships, or even that old person kind of coming back into your life. And you're like, wait a minute, you didn't do this with me, but now you want to do this with me. So it's kind of like, interesting. I know. I will tell you, Venus also rules over money. So because of that, we want to use our money wisely on things that we value, not just throwing it away, but what do you value with your money? What you're spending your money on, or you're showing what you value in your life. So this is a really important kind of like, these are the things that I value. These are the things that I really, really love. Let's see. Venus in retrograde is here, and it's really helping us pay attention to what's important in our lives and what do we value in our lives. And it's also going to be really putting that spotlight on things of like, what do we need to change? And so it's kind of like, what do I really want to modify in this time frame? Venus in retrograde is also a great time for self-reflection. This can be just, 10 or 15 minutes. Like, I really want to think about what I want to change, or I want to think about this for a few more minutes. Doesn't mean like you're going to, go on retreat for, for a month or whatever else. It just means like, let me take a step back for a few minutes, or let me have some time to kind of really think about what do I want in all of this. And I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of discussion about relationships, especially relationships that no longer honor you, because it's all about love. Next, on July 23rd, we have Chiron going into retrograde. Chiron is going into retrograde in the sign of Aries. Like I said earlier, Chiron is kind of like, it's a little bit smaller than Pluto, so it's kind of like a very tiny planet or a really big asteroid, depending on what your vision is on that. And it's going into retrograde in the sign of Aries. And so Chiron is considered our wounded healer. And so this is always going to bring up things that we've got to heal or take care of in some way. So this is a great time to kind of go into wounds that you've had. And this could be a physical wound. This could be, I fell and hurt my shoulder last year and now I need to get help on it. Or I had this happen. It doesn't have to be emotional healing. It can be any kind of healing in this area. And sometimes it can be healing that's kind of like the emotional part, but I'll tell you, not always. It just is all about healing. And sometimes we have like conscious wounds, like we know that we hurt ourselves there. And then sometimes there are some like unconscious wounds, and that could be bringing us into like our childhood of like when we were too small to remember, or it could bringing us into our past lives as well. So there could be some past life healing in this area as well. This is because if you're really connecting with Chiron, this is a great opportunity to take a look at like the inside and outs of your friends, like which friends should be in what category, what friends should you be wanting to hang out with. Friends that you realize like these people are kind of holding me back. Those are the ones that we may want to like, I'm not really interested in keeping up this friendship, or I'm going to move them into a different category. I had them in the friend area, but now I think they should go in the acquaintance area. So kind of depending on that. Chiron wants us to like own our wounds. Like, what is our part of the wound? If we had a relationship that went bad, what is our part of that? What do we need to deal with this? And healing will come, especially with Chiron in there. And this is kind of really owning up to the things that where we might have hurt people in the past, or other people have hurt us. It's like, okay, now we've really got to give them that energy so they can work in this energy a little bit differently. And also one of the things with Chiron is it's going to really be pushing us to really look at our wounds in a different way. Like when this issue happened, or we broke up with this person, or whatever it is, this is when I learned this. This is how I learned this part. And so it's really bringing up that to our forethought, because a lot of times people will say, oh, I want my life to be perfect with no hiccups or bumps or bruises or anything else I want to slide through. And I'm like, then you picked the wrong planet to come to, because this is the planet where we're going to learn, where we're going to go through things, that we have to kind of push that energy into learning all of this. That is kind of the yay part of it. And I have not only myself, but I know a lot of other people that kind of keep like their life lessons all written down. And it's kind of like, I learned this on this day, and I learned this on this day. And it's one of those, and a lot of times it's not that they started at the beginning of their life, but it's like they started keeping track of it. And it's a lot of times like you don't realize everything that you've learned until you start writing it down. You're like, wow, this is amazing to kind of have that energy of connecting into it. You're going to see a lot of people kind of going into those old wounds with Chiron in there, kind of just that very interesting energy. Okay, so next we move into July 25th. We have our Pluto squaring our north nodes, and this is where we're going to really feel it. Our nodes change on July 17th, and that is going to be like a big shift for us, but we're really actually going to feel that on July 25th when Pluto squares our north node. Our north node will be then in the sign of Aries, and our south node will be in Libra. And it, like, the squaring is all about like pushing the energy together. So it's kind of like which one's going to come out on top. You don't know, because you just squish it together, squish, squish, squish. And so Pluto is at the midpoint of two lunar nodes, and it is with 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, kind of like that life and death, that birth and that rebirth and growth season. And this is going to be like a very revolutionary kind of like step forward. I guarantee you around this time frame, or over the next few days after the 25th, you're going to see some revelations coming out, some new thinking, some new changes for people. And this could also be companies as well, because Pluto is so far out there, or this could be also governments. The further out a planet is, the more it affects everybody, and it globally affects us. So it could be all of the United States, or all of Great Britain, or all of Russia, or whatever else. You're going to see those big changes. The closer in the planet is to us is more about kind of like the changes right here, right now. So that sort of energy. With Pluto square the nodes, the mandate to heal our generational wounds, and kind of rewriting like some healthier ways to kind of bring this energy forward. And even if you don't have kids, can still be something that, like, I'm going to bring this into a new healthy state for us. This is going to be a really great one. The North Node is all about the future, kind of like, what am I growing into, or what am I becoming, or who am I growing into, kind of thing. The South Node is about the past. What is the baggage that I carry? What are the things that got me here? What are the life lessons that I learned on the trip here? And so what is the structure part of your identity is the mixture of these two. It's like, it really is, because we always are looking with one eye forward and one eye to the past, kind of like, that taught me a lot of things. Pluto square our lunar nodes will help us really understand some subtle ways of kind of like identifying like how we grew up, our family. This is all about like our formative years, like our kids, our childhood. And can bring us into some great opportunities to kind of change some karmic nodes. You also have that with Chiron, but you're also going to see that in this one as well. And kind of bringing in some karmic kind of energy there. Next on, let's see, July 28th, we have Mercury entering the sign of Virgo. Virgo is Mercury's favorite sign, and it's going to be like this amazing kind of combination of the two planets. The planet of thinking and communication, which is Mercury, is in the sign of analytical organization and sign of like love. So it's kind of like, boom, here we go. When Mercury is in Venus, our communication is going to be very articulate, very clear. Other people actually kind of get us in some ways, that sort of thing. It's kind of like being able to communicate well with other people. Mercury in Virgo is going to kind of like really help us like grasp new concepts. So this is a great time to like get into that deep thinking kind of book that you've really been wanting to get into, bringing some new things that you're learning in your life together, because your brain is just going to be like on target that day, that during this time frame. This is no wonder that Virgo season is generally when the children go back to school, because and adults kind of get back to work, because this is going to be like pushing that amazing energy. Mercury in the sign of Virgo is all about a really great transit of communication, mental thinking, kind of what's coming in, how are we going to make some changes. And this is also a great time to kind of like set up a new website, kind of write a book, take some new classes. What are you ready to learn and kind of deal with? So let's do some angel cards. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I know sometimes when I go through them really fast, people are like, I know, it happens. It gets a little intense. It's a lot of information. That's only July. August, September, all have tons of stuff as well. So it's like, wow. Okay, let's go in. The first card I pull up is about emerging, and this is kind of like those emerging energies. And I kind of feel like it's like talking about several different planets. It's not just one, because there's a lot of planets that are coming into changing signs, changing energy. And I will say probably the best one is going to be the North Node, because that is really going to be changing a lot of information for us. Spiritual growth. It's all kind of spiritual growth. I will tell you, the one planet I get kind of really amped up with this one is Chiron. And that's kind of like that spiritual growth. Things that when we kind of go back and heal things, that is a really great time to kind of bring in that amazing energy. That is a great time to kind of bring in some old healing as well. Spiritual growth can kind of really make you think like, wow, I didn't realize that this was teaching me so much when I was going through it, because it was not so great. But now that I see it differently, it's like, wow, this really is a great one. The next one is truth and integrity. And oh my gosh, this is kind of Mercury going into the sign of Leo, because people are going to be kind of dropping their truth, that integrity. I'm willing to stand up and kind of make there's some changes. Hi, Miss Stacy. Oh, and Miss Michelle. How are y'all doing? This is some amazing energy that we're going to be working through this summer. Meditation. This is kind of like those short ones that we were talking about, kind of with, where were we at with that one? Kind of taking that step back. I know the nodes tell you to do that. And I think Chiron tells you to take a step back. What was the other one? And so this is just short-term meditations. This is kind of like stepping up that meditation as you kind of take a step back for a little bit. I think even like Mercury in the sign of Leo is a really good one to kind of like step back and kind of like, let's really think about this. Let's really think about this energy. Freedom. Well, of course, we have the 4th of July, but we also have, during that time frame about freedom, we also have that full moon in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about like freeing us and kind of like getting us ready for that next level. And it's kind of like right there at the beginning of the the energy, and it's really going to be pushing some things for us to change and let go of. I guarantee you that one's going to be a really good one. Forgiveness. This is one that I think is harder than anything else, but this is kind of what we're kind of getting into with Chiron, is kind of changing old family wounds, old family energy that have been kind of like, we've always thought this way in my family. All of those are going to be coming into new healed energy, and that's all about forgiving them. A lot of times, like, they didn't realize they were thinking wrong. They were just following what they had learned, or someone had taught them this or told them this, and so they stayed in that energy instead of like updating their thinking, like, oh, I should update this a little bit. They're kind of like, nope, let's stay in this energy. So that can be one that can just be overwhelming for a lot of people. Chiron can be an amazing energy to heal in, I guarantee you. And there's going to be a lot of forgiveness that you're going to want to give to yourself and to others as well. I know this is so great. I thank y'all so much for joining me today. I will run my commercial one more time, and then I'll be posting all of this out. I'm so excited that y'all join me tonight. If y'all have questions later on, or you're like, okay, I want to ask this question about it, post them. I will get to them as soon as I can. I am so excited that y'all joined me this evening. I'm always excited when y'all join me this evening, but here we go.